Hey guys, welcome to Greenshine Farmers. Today's episode is what happened to us in 2020. Now, for those of you that follow our channel, you know we didn't really post much last year, especially, once we got into summer, it just kind of fell off. And so this episode, we're just going to kind of walk the farm and I'll show you what we got going on. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about last year and what exactly happened. In order to do that, we need to kind of look at where we were going into 2020. As you guys know, we started this farm 5 years ago with pretty much no money, which basically meant taking on a lot of debt. And that debt had reached its peak in 2019. Okay, so we also in 2019 took on hemp and started in another company called Akira Botanicals, where we sell our hemp and CBD products. So rolling into 2020, we had a pretty good inventory of hemp. We had CBD oil, we had CBD concentrates and all these great things, but we had a mountain of debt. And so if we were going to survive, we really needed to figure out how to move some products. So going into 2020, we started to land some local accounts. We got in with some health food stores. We got in with some local dispensaries. We won a cannabis cup in February down in Queen City for best terpene profile and highest CBD content. That kind of bought us a little bit of recognition, and we were able to move some of our product that way. So that was, basically at the beginning of the year in February. In February, we also had our first girl, Athena. And so that makes 3 kids now. And, so things were going, well. The hemp got us through the winter. And then, as March came along, hearing about COVID and, obviously you guys know where that went. So come, April or whatnot, we were able to refinance most of our debt. Now, this is something we were working on prior to COVID and all of this. We basically had a ton of credit card debt. Luckily, we were able to consolidate all of that debt into one low interest rate, and that was just like a weight off of our backs. So 2020 was looking pretty good. We start rolling into the spring, and obviously things start changing fast in terms of, we had acquired maybe 5 different restaurant accounts, some pretty big restaurants in Asheville, and we had developed some relationships with the chefs, and all of that shut down. On the other hand, one of our distributors, Mother Earth Food, quadrupled their business because they do home delivery. And so it was a double-edged sword. We were able to thankfully move all of our stuff, or most of it anyway, through Mother Earth Food and then the other local mom and pop grocery stores. So then what happens? So we start getting into the summer then, and basically we just got into this mode of put our heads down and work. And we did. We just work. We really went after it last year. There wasn't much else to do. There was no potlucks. There was really very little get-togethers. There was no festivals. So most of what we did was just hunker down, and maybe Sunday afternoon we would go swimming, and then we'd go over to my brother's house for a bonfire. And that was like our routine for the whole summer. And even though it was very repetitive, I was actually very thankful to have that routine, because as we started getting more into the fall, I think is when we really started to feel just that workload taking its toll. Now, mind you, we have 3 kids, and Alexandra does all the editing for these videos. And anybody who has had a newborn knows that Mama's not getting much sleep. She's got to stay up with the infant. And I was completely busy with Akira and basically just trying to get this CBD company off the ground. And so I was staying up doing website work, doing inventory, doing all these other things. And essentially, we did not spend much time together. We were 2 people working 2 different jobs in the same household. As we go into fall, we're getting into the hemp harvest, and we're trying to get everything out of the field. And one day I noticed, our dog Rio's just not his back legs aren't working properly. He's kind of got like a drunk walk going on. And so I take him to the vet, and the vet doesn't really know what it is. And he says, well, clearly he's dehydrated, but we don't really know what this other thing is. So get him some fluids. And I ended up getting 5 different opinions from 5 different vets, and nobody could really tell me what was going on. And, okay, you know, we finish up the season down here, and we decided to go up to Chicago for the winter so that I could work snowplow. So, you know, when we left here in the fall, the cup was full. There was no more room to take on anything, and in fact, I didn't even have any room to worry about things because I just couldn't. I just was maxed out. Really, when we got up to Chicago, within a couple of weeks, Rio ended up passing away, and that was really hard. 2020 was kind of a shit year. I think a lot of people would agree with that. It was a tough year on many fronts. And even though our business did just fine and we were able to grow through these tough times, we were hit on all these other fronts. And it really, I think, forced us to sort of reevaluate. And we've got a lot of things to be proud of, even just with our YouTube channel, you know, getting up to 17,000 subscribers and having people all over the world who tune in and follow our channel. There's a lot of things to feel proud of. But at the end of the day, when we got into this, you know, we got into it for the quality of life. And we started to see we're not doing any of this. Like a lot of the stuff that we got in it for has gotten brushed aside, and what has taken its place is just a lot of work. We had to really reevaluate things in the off season. And I think also being away from the farm, having 2 other people that worked for us that year actually run the farm over the winter and do harvest delivery and everything without us showed me that we don't need to be here actually. Like anybody who owns a farm or a homestead knows how hard it is to leave. It's very, very hard. You feel like it's your baby and you can't step away or the whole thing's going to fall apart. But we didn't have a choice and we had to let it go. And so coming back this year, we've kind of seen, hey, the farm can run a little bit on its own and you can just take a step back. And so this year, you know, we've got a great crew of people and, you know, we've really been, it's been a different feel. You know, we actually live off farm this year. That was another thing we realized. The living situation had gotten to be too much. Living in a travel trailer with 3 kids, there's something to be said about living where you work and not really having any separation between that made it very difficult to ever stop working. These are things that a lot of people don't think about. I know I didn't think about it when we started, but they were real challenges. And so we saw some of the changes that we needed to make was that we needed a house and that we needed to start setting clear boundaries of start work at this time, leave work at this time, and spend time with the family. When I actually do an honest assessment, when I step back and say, well, am I doing the best job I could be doing? I mean, the answer was no, because I was giving more of my time and energy to the farm. And granted, that's the way it needed to be. In the beginning, we didn't have any employees. We weren't able to step away. But now that we are, just keep perspective of everything. You know, figure out what's most important. And sometimes you don't think you can let something go. But other times, you know, you really don't have a choice. You sort of have to trust in the system you built and just kind of let it go sometimes. And the farm's been running and we're cranking on all cylinders. Akira's doing great. Greenshine's rolling along. I want to do another episode where I have more time to really go in and on the changes that we're making and kind of how things are a little different this year. But for right now, I just wanted to apologize to everybody who has followed our channel from the beginning, who's been kind enough to leave comments and ask us how we're doing. We're doing fine. Thank you for your love and support. And we're going to try to be more consistent with these videos, even if we just get them out here and there, even if it's just once a month, but keeping you guys informed. And if there's things you guys want to know about, like if you're thinking about starting a homestead and you have questions, drop us a line in the comments and put down an episode that you want us to do. Because that's the other thing is like thinking of episode ideas. It's kind of tough. So if you guys have any ideas for things we could talk about or film and show you, let us know. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.
He's really slimy.
He is. You're gonna climb up the slide?